G'day, and the last of the four-part Critten's interview with Auntie is being rushed out again. I have too much to do these days, so my videos have to lack a bit of detail that I usually put in. In either case, you are free to ask questions in the comments and I will answer anything and everything. Just remember, the cretin said that he would be interviewing Auntie in person, and now he's done it over YouTube and can't do all those things that he should be doing on site. I gave a giant list of questions he should be asking, and none of those have resulted thus far. He's getting out of it lightly. In the first three, I only found one hard question, which I identified. Let's see what happens here on in to end it all.
Are you guys just kind of hoping that this road trip is gonna like make an explosive crowdfunding, like a bulge of crowdfunding happen this summer? Is that the strategy for funding?
I mean, we're humbled that the crowdfunding, has done so well, and it's been amazing to see how many investors we've taken on, over 20,000, people supporting our vision. But we know it's going to take more than the crowdfunding to push this vehicle into production. Even with the explosive crowdfunding, it's slow. Crowdfunding is more of a trickle when we need a little bit more juice.
Okay. So you guys are not depending on crowdfunding to do this, because I know nothing about this. I've never started a company or anything, but I'm just like, I don't know that that's a viable strategy to depend on crowdfunding to get large tranches of money.
Yeah, it's a great tool to get the idea off the ground for sure. And the community that we've built on the back of crowdfunding, we think, is what will enable the rest of our plan. So it is really because of crowdfunding that we feel these other funding options are opening up to us. But it's not specifically the crowdfunding that will put the dollars in the bank, fully to make all this happen. So, it's been great to go through the process, and, one of the largest crowdfundings in history, has made us very, very popular, and we get a lot of coverage, and obviously we've got a big fan base now. So when we go to do the next thing, we know that our crowd will be there to support us, and it really is because of the community we built that we think the next phases of funding are going to happen.
Okay, yeah. So I was kind of like wanting to get your thoughts on Slate and Tel. Like they went a different way. Like they didn't go crowdfunding, and they found some seemingly large investors, because they're not looking for crowdfunding. Do you have any ideas of why you think that happened for them, and why Aptera went the crowdfunding route?
Yeah, I mean, our vision is super unique, obviously. There's nothing else like us. We would love for a big billionaire to be like, this is my claim to fame now that I've made all my riches, is I'm going to make the world a better place through solar mobility. But we haven't found the Jeff Bezos to jump in and dump big money into the company, or other big VCs that maybe see some of the success in other verticals and can kind of compare a truck-esque product to another truck-esque product. Unfortunately, there's no solar-powered spaceship space right now.
Okay.
So comparing us to anything else has just been very difficult for people. And when an analyst looks at us, which any billionaire that's going to put money into something usually has a group of analysts and a whole team, and it's a whole thing. As soon as we get to the analyst part, they just don't know what to do with us. Where do you put this round peg into the square hole? Maybe it's more like a teardrop peg into the square hole. But when they're trying to evaluate it, the market is littered with EV failures who have spent magnitudes more money than Aptera to fail. So, okay, we're looking at us and like, okay, they've got very unique technologies, but these other companies didn't have any technology. They still failed. So, how can these guys develop these technologies on a limited budget and get this vehicle to production and succeed? And, I would say that it's just through our grit and determination to make this happen. Steve and I have devoted ourselves to this effort, and our team is working tirelessly to make this vision a reality. And, I think that's what it takes to make, world-changing things like this happen, is you just got to keep plowing on and getting it done. So we don't have that deep pocket person, but hopefully our grit and determination will inspire that person over time. And it may be that this new road trip and these validation vehicles will inspire that person, because before it was a dream and they were making prototypes and they were interesting and it could happen, but are the numbers really there? Can they really do it? Once the numbers are there, once the vehicle, in the production-esque form, or, really driving around, and we can bring people in and say, all we need is this to bring this to the world. It's a very different feel for the conversation, a very different reality for us. And we think, once the train starts going, once it rains, it pours type scenario, hopefully once it really gets going, it'll be going.
Okay. Yeah.
So how long was that? I couldn't see anywhere where I needed to step in because everything was just the old cliches. It was gobbledygook. It was never answering a question. Once again, just try and think back. I've forgotten these questions. But think back and get the question clear in your mind and then look for an answer to the question. You won't find one. He just clouds people's minds with so much guff. And I will reiterate, it doesn't matter if all the money comes. If some billionaire comes along and says, I'll give you $100 million right now, buy all your plant equipment, buy all your inventory that you want, they will not come out with a viable product. The silly trike will have so many deficiencies that the first few owners will be complaining bitterly about their shortcomings and nobody else will buy them. They'll have it all up and ready to do their 20,000 a year and no customers because they can't make it properly. They just switch and change and try this and that and muck around, and still what they come out with is unfit for purpose. There are two sides to this problem. One is the money, and that's very dire, but the other is the inability for the silly trike to meet people's needs because the claims are false. The claims are way over the top, and reality will prove that the silly trike is substandard. This is what I have been saying all along.
This, a couple of months ago, you guys went to the UAE to try to get some funding from that. Did anything come of that?
We made some great relationships there. I think there's lots of potential in the UAE. They do a lot of composites in the UAE. They do a lot of metal work. Energy is really cheap in that part of the world. One of the most expensive things in all of our metal parts and the composite parts is the energy needed to heat those molds. So if you go to a part of the world where energy's free, then parts get a lot cheaper. So we hope that as we get closer to production, we'll see more tangible things happen in the UAE. But we made great connections. We continue conversations there. The world's kind of changed with tariffs and stuff. Everybody's real gun shy about pulling the trigger on any big infrastructure things. So hopefully that changes in the next 3 to 6 months, and we can come out on the other side with people, more desperate to catch up now that they've lost, a year fretting about tariffs. Now we can really get the production train and, economies around the world humming and producing a lot of Aptera parts for us.
Yeah. I think I like what you said earlier about like once it starts raining, it pours, because I kind of think that's what's going on. I think that once you get the first large investor in, I think you'll get more large investors, because right now I kind of get the feeling that maybe the large investors are like, well, no one else has gone in. What am I missing? Like, what am I missing here? And then once someone goes in, everyone's like, oh, okay, that guy went in. I want to go in too. And I'm hoping that that's what happens for you guys.
Sure.
I'll pause here because this is supposed to be a 4-part series of where the cretin asks the hard questions. But you can see what he's doing here. He's not asking a question at all now. He's making suggestions. and he's giving this positive spin that all things are going to start getting great. It's a crazy idea, and I think he's using that old adage where if you mention it often enough, it just might cause it. I don't think that's going to work. There's been too much talk about everything and not enough action, and his suggestion is too little too late.
All right. So, like, do you have any? I think there's been, I've been feeling a little bit of pessimism in the community over the past couple of months, mainly for funding reasons and the timeline stretching out. Do you have any things that you can tell us that maybe we have reasons for some optimism at this point?
Yeah, I feel everyone's pain. I live it every day, and even I, back in the shop, and all the employees want it to happen as quick as possible. All of us stretched thin, very small team, overworked team, many hours to make this happen. When is the funding going to come? When is all this going to come together? I think now's where the fun starts. The first validation vehicles on the road, the first real testing results, on solar and vehicle performance, vehicles driving all across the country to visit supporters. It's been a long road to get there, and we are terribly appreciative of everybody's patience and willingness, to stick with us as we really, push harder and harder to get this done. But I really see this summer as the next phase in our evolution. Real vehicles, just make it a whole different thing. Our vision coming to the world, not being choked out by big companies and greed and legacy automotive and technologies. We think Aptera is what the world needs, and it's finally becoming tangible. It starts with 3, and then it becomes 300, and then it becomes 3,000, and then it becomes 3 million. So that's where we're at now. We're at 3, and it's going to grow exponentially from here. It's we've incubated it, we've got it growing, the culture's in, and here's where it really starts to take off. So it will take a few more months to kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together here, but really, if I was an Aptera fan, I would be crazy excited to see the first vehicles hitting the road, fully equipped, everything working, the first real data from the first test, and the first events at the facility to come and actually see what we're doing in person, and the first vehicles driving across country. So if you live in Texas or New York, you'll be able to actually see the vehicle. It's going to spread like wildfire, and people are going to see this on the road in Texas, and Arkansas and New York, and they're going to take pictures, and they're going to tell their friends, and it's going to be a whole new spark, hopefully, to what we're doing, and really breathe energy into everything it's going to take to get this vehicle into production. And I think that's going to help us with the fundraising, and it's going to help keep our crowd enthusiastic. And then when we hand the first person their keys, holy moly, we're unstoppable. So
I could see in his eyes that he was hunting around in his brain for every platitude that he's rehearsed in front of the mirror thousands of times over. He was looking for them all, searching hard, and just throwing them out there on this just sad and pathetic attempt to put optimism where there's no logical reason to be optimistic. I would encourage people to watch his last ditch effort a number of times over and read the body language, watch the eyes, and listen for things that you've heard 100 times before if you've been following Aptera videos. The cretin asked for reasons to be optimistic, and there were no new reasons there at all. There are reasons to be pessimistic that haven't been even talked about, such as the lawsuit that's still going on and the investigation by the SEC that's still going on. And I think they even had their registration that was a step towards an IPO lapse. He talked up big the Fartames road trip, yet the first place they go is an hour down the road. I go further just to go swimming for the day. And the whole planned trip, which we still don't know when it's going to occur, is nothing more than a weekend jaunt away for me and for hundreds of thousands of people in the developed countries. Let's see what last little bits he has to say.
That could be less than a year away. So we're working hard to make that happen. So I hope for optimism. I get pessimistic sometimes too. It's been up and down and fits and starts, and we get some parts and we make a lot of progress, and we have to wait on something, and things kind of stall, and so being internal to the company, we have the same kind of heartaches and trials and tribulations that our crowd and you have out there. Plus, we're doing the work every day, so we have the ups and downs of the work. So I'm excited. I think Steve's super excited. I think the team's super excited. Having the last Artemis hit the road, with all of its fitment. I mean, it means every engineer has executed on their task to get whatever thing they're working on in the vehicle and it actually working. So it's a big milestone to have all that done, and not in prototype form, not in some science project form, but in a production intent form, that this thing that you see driving now is what we're going to be delivering very soon. And it's exciting and humbling, and I want to get it done quicker. And I'm super glad that we have so much support, and keep writing us and telling us how you feel about the project and how excited you are, because I send those emails around to people in the company, and it's exciting to feel the love from our community. And I do read some of the comments in Steve's videos and other videos, and I certainly feel the love from so many people that just want to make this happen, and we really want to make it happen too. So thank you for your patience too, and following us along and giving everybody such good info, not on just us, but the industry and other stuff too. And thanks to your followers and all the Aptera fans that are watching us right now for sticking with us, and let's get ready to party. It's going to be a fun summer.
All right, great.
Well, can you see the brown nose? I stopped him when he was only halfway through his optimism rant. It's so pathetic that it's almost sickening. How do the fanboys swallow it all?
Thank you so much, Chris. Yeah, you're working until 10 p.m. It's crazy. Dedication. I feel it. Thank you.
So usually I get my best work done after the kids go to sleep. So it's usually like from 9 o'clock till 1 in the morning that I get the best stuff done. So
Okay.
I greatly appreciate it. Awesome to talk to you again. Come down and see us in the shop sometime, and thanks to all your fans for watching and supporting.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
That was a big joke. Oh well, there'll be more fish to fry for me. So until I can get the time to make other videos, one in mind is that, what is he, chasing cars or something like that? Chasing Aptera? Anyway, the strange looking fella who's decided to try and build up the two CEOs as competent people. It was an absolute joke in itself and deserves a video. I just hope, with all the demands on me with family activities going on at the moment, that I can get them out before they get too stale. Till then, that's all from me. Bye for now. Stay safe.